move. I got the phone on a tripod. So I love the fact I have a tripod because I can have it just in the air, right where my mouth is, at the perfect height, so the sound waves can hit the microphone of the phone, and you can hear me clearly instead of having to hold the phone in my ear and get those cancer waves. You know, when the phone gives off electromagnetic waves that cause cancer. So one of the things that I've learned is that I don't keep the phone. I don't let the phone get more than a foot away from my head, if that makes sense, for brain tumors and stuff like that. So I mean, that's just the laws of physics, electromagnetics. But after the conversation that we had yesterday, I took a lot of good notes, and I really want to first thank you so much for allowing me to attempt to go to WebEx. But as I said earlier, I realized that there was too much coming against me, and I'm led by the Spirit and the absolute. Yeah, and the absolute is that I believe in God, and I believe that God leads me, and that is the absolute. So there's no debating in my mind on that, and no one will ever be able to make me believe differently. And so being individual led by the absolute, I realized that going into WebEx for just 3 days and putting myself in more financial problems, or just having to deal with the consequences out there of, for example, expenses I did not plan for because I don't have the $1,000 like I normally have as a cushion, made me realize that, hey, it's not right for me to go out there. I know what I'm used to, and I know how I always was prepared for everything. And this is a moment where I'm not prepared. So I hope that makes sense of why I decided not to go. Does that make sense?
It does. You don't have to justify it to me. I'm good.
Oh no. I'm not justifying it to you, but I am explaining it because I want you to understand my logic. Remember, we metallogically, right? We go by logic, not by feelings, like y'all ladies go by. So I just want you to understand my logic. Does that make sense? Oh, that's good. So as you get ready to have your counseling session, I hope that our relationship comes up in that counseling session. I would love for her to start digging into your brain and find out what you think about relationships. Because you said a lot of stuff yesterday in regards to how you want a man to share things with, and a man that would be there for you, and kind of all the stuff that it's in the wonderful Harlequin romance novels, or the movies and TV shows, or the romance comedy rom-coms. And I said that I think that that's foolish, that people should look at relationship like a job, a duty, a responsibility. And like my Indian family members or my Chinese family members, they got married based upon arrangement. They looked at the benefit of the whole versus the individual. And their marriages seem to work out longer and better than all of us living in America who push this argument of love and feelings and feelings. So as a black sister, I hope that you talking to this professor, Dr. Black Sister. I heard that she's single, but I hope she's not. Because if she's not, I would love to get you to tell me her opinions on this major issue for millions of black sisters and brothers. Marriage. That issue, marriage. Successful marriage. Does that make sense?
Well, it makes sense what you're asking, but it's not something that I'm going to pursue with her. I'm going to pursue those things that I need to work on.
You don't think marriage is something to work on? Oh, I thought you said you want to be married. I thought you said I want to be married. That's what you wrote down yesterday.
That's not my priority.
Oh.
My priority right now is to heal myself.
Okay. I heard that.
To get the work done. My priority is to understand what makes me tick and help me to be a better person.
Okay.
Certainly what goes on in my life does come up in conversation, and I should certainly feel free to discuss anything
Okay.
And
I was trying to ask that question because time ain't on our side, and I don't know how much time you think you have to accomplish these certain individual steps. Because it seems like what you're saying is I got this goal first, this goal second, this goal third, this goal fourth, this goal fifth, and where is the goal of marriage? What number is that?
well, I don't know, but here's the thing, and you made that comment many times, multiple times in this conversation. I'm sure that it has been, but many times since we reconnected. Time isn't on our side.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
have more years behind us than we have
yeah,
in front of us.
yeah.
We need to be concerned. We can't get time back. But
That's right.
all those things are true, but they don't dog me. I'm not gonna say that I am not concerned that I'm not gonna that time because today, look, unbeknownst to me, today I might have 2 years left. Unbeknownst to me, today I might have 30 years left. Unbeknownst to me, I might only live just before the age my father died. Unbeknownst to me, I only had 20 years since my sister died. I just don't know. And so I'm not operating in this sense of what you call fear. I'm not living in fear of time. I am living. See, this is the reason I didn't even want to say that is because to some degree I am living in fear of time, but not in the sense that you keep describing. So yeah, I don't know where marriage is on the clock, on the list of priorities. Let's fix that. I don't know where it is on the list of priorities, but I am trying to be a better me so that when I leave this earth, I'm, whether it be in dementia or Alzheimer's or stuck to the bed or whatever the situation is, what I don't want to be doing is reliving times in my life where the people who are my caretakers are saying to themselves, I don't know what she's talking about. She kept saying coming on. I don't know what that is, but she ain't all there. Because we're trapped because I might be trapped in my mind, trying to undo, trying to fix something that ain't even going on. That's my priority. So I want to unravel and heal and get an understanding and get better and make my apologies and push aside the shame, the embarrassment, whatever stuff is plaguing me, the hurts. That's priority. That's really priority. Because I don't want to. I want to fix that. I want to fix me in that sense. Whether or not, because if I don't fix all those, marriage ain't even a viable option. What did you say when we first started talking? We need to do the work. We shouldn't even been in a relationship because we have to address our own issues before we can bring someone else in our space, right?
Right.
So what I look like prioritizing marriage, I still got some stuff that I need to deal with. That's what my priority is.
Yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying. Oh, well, that's my part there. I understand what you're saying. I just wish that you know, my Dr. Thompson says that there's two types of fear. There's good fear and bad fear. Good fear, example, don't touch a hot stove. You get burned.
Right.
If a person has no good fear, they might see a hot stove like a baby, touch it, and they burn themselves really bad. Same thing when it comes to relationships. You don't have good fear, don't get with that guy. That guy might burn you emotionally, physically, both, or her. And you learn from those moments. And then there's bad fear. And that bad fear is like, it's called paralysis by analysis. You get so paralyzed, you don't do anything. So you never change, but you don't get worse, you don't get better, you just stagnate. But that's also bad too because you ain't going forward.
Right.
And a guy can look at a woman, he could tell, or a girl can look at a guy and she could tell that guy, that girl ain't going forward. That guy's stagnant. There's something going on. That's what my therapist taught me.
Yeah, I would agree with that part. I think I answered that to the degree that I did have a sense of fear. I had that sense of fear from the time that I broke my routine until I prayed to God that I would meet somebody and get married. I met you, but I think, that took 10 years. Between the time I broke my routine and the time I met you, 10 years. And then it took 7 years between the time I broke up with Robert and the time I connected with you. So I know a long period of, I guess you could call it fear, of just feeling like, you know what, I love me, I'm good with myself. I'm not gonna worry about being with somebody else. I'm gonna worry about me. I'm gonna worry about making myself better. I'm gonna worry about the things I need to do. And that was really, I wouldn't call it fear, because I would call it avoidance. Avoidance.
That's a good point. That's a great point. Avoidance. And it's kind of amazing how social psychologists, and we really talking about psychology right now, how psychologists can state that in the black community, that's a very big normal. Like one man I know would say that anytime a woman has an issue in relationships with someone, she'll run back to college. So she'll go from getting a bachelor's and she'll take about 5 years off, have a relationship, don't work out, then go back and get a master's. And then of course, now she has a master's and then she starts looking for relationships. Of course, she's overeducated compared to the guys that's in her space. So, and she don't want those guys because of the fact that they make less, they have less education, they make less money. And then she goes back to school and get a PhD. Now we got the situation even worse. Very intelligent black sister, MBA, PhD, JED, MD, but they need sex, they need love making, they need orgasms, they need every single thing a woman out there in the street as a prostitute needs. All the difference is the quality caliber of her expects a higher quality caliber of a guy. And unfortunately, those numbers for the guys are so small. The higher you get educated, the smaller the pool is. That if that woman doesn't put herself out there in that realm, i.e. going to events for Greekdom, and that's just the Greek part. But not even if you were Greek, just going to this week is homecoming, right? And I'm pretty sure you know the school where homecoming's for. Exactly. Going to events like the PAX Spelman Morehouse Week, which the first thing I did when I first came to Atlanta in July 2011 is I went to one of those. I went to, and it's funny, it's during my birthday month. So it kind of was a blessing to have it during my month of birthday. But in my week of my birthday. And so I don't know how sisters can get from where you're talking about to that place that you want to get to if they don't not only do the therapy, but then apply what the therapists tell you to do to get that mental work done so that you are able to be in a position, as psychologists would say, to receive a hello, my name is Sam, how are you? And be able to move forward from that first question down to I do, man and wife.
I know that it happens. It has happened many times before me. But what happens many times after me, I'm okay, even if it doesn't ever happen. I know that there's things I need to do, but one of the things I don't want to do is end up 95 pounds heavier than I am right now. which I was just a couple of years ago. So I need to deal with those issues that drive me to eat them, so that I don't end up in a marriage and he's miserable now because I gained 100 pounds and I am not the person that he met. He thought, you know, he was gonna keep going to bed with. I'm different. So I don't want that. But here's what I will say to what you said just a few minutes earlier, which was we end up with all these degrees and we outsmart the guys are smaller, blah. All that is true, except for I don't have to have a man who is also a PhD or who also has a master's or maybe not even if he doesn't have a master's. I mean a bachelor's. If he is a smart guy, if he's smart, he loves me, he looks after me, he protects me. I don't have to have all that, and he may be a 5-figure guy. I'm just more cautious these days because I have so much more to lose. I don't want to risk somebody eyeing my bank account because they've never seen the kind of money that I make. They don't make it on a regular basis. But I'm okay without a man who has a master's or PhD. I don't have to have that. I want a smart guy who I feel like who has skills and qualities and attributes in other areas that I don't. I hope I have not. And then you're the person who could tell me.
What?
You're the person who could tell me. I hope I have not talked down to you. I mean, you have a master's, obviously, and an associate, but you don't have a master's. Do you ever feel like I treat you like you're not smarter than me? I don't think I've ever done that, but maybe I have. Have I done that to you?
Well, I don't think you have because I'm very much a very well-learned guy. And I've been reading way beyond my age of 49. And continue to read. So a lot of ways I've kind of stumped you with certain things, a lot of things. So I don't feel like I have been belittled by you. But again, I'm talking about somebody else. I mean, me is a different case. I don't know the guys out there that might be HIV techs, or they might be my maintenance man who's black and came to my apartment to fix my washing machine. You know, I know he don't have a master's degree. I know he don't have a bachelor's degree. So
does he carry himself like he's confident? Does he carry himself like he knows what he's doing?
I think so. I mean, I hope so.
I only use you as an example of how I treat someone who is not on my same educational learning, formal educational level. That's all I ask. I ask you that because you would know from your perspective. That's all.
Yeah. I mean, I've been with women who, not you, but I've been with other women who have had JDs, who've had MDs, who have PhDs, and yes, they do look down on guys that have degrees, don't have that level of degrees. You might not because you have not dated a lot of different guys. You said you know only less than 5 people in your whole lifetime. So that kind of is different. You don't really fit the norm, if that makes sense. But most people, they don't live like what you live like the 1950s, when my grandmama, my grandparents lived, and they only married the first person they dated, they married. That day is gone. I wish it was here, but that day is gone. People at least date 20, 30 different people before they married, and one of those 20 should have married, but they didn't marry because they were so busy wanting to date more people. And when I say date, I mean have sex with. So that's because of the society, the marketing, cosmopolitan, the feminist movement of Gloria Steinem, and all that. That day changed it for the women, and once the women started thinking about their vaginas being power, the man had to acquiesce, because remember, women open the door to sex, men open the door to marriage. You know, women don't marry men and give y'all don't give us your last name. You take my last name. So, but when it comes to sex, you have to give us the opportunity to have sex. We just can't take it. So that's the dynamic that we're dealing with. And so that's changed today. Today it's not like it was 1970. Definitely not like it was 1950. I don't think I ever get back there, but there's some people that are trying to get back there.
Yeah,
I look forward to hear what your doctor says. I'm looking forward to hear what your doctor says. I don't. She charges $125 an hour, so that should be a really good hour.
Oh, it always is. It always is. It always is. Yeah. Yeah, it's big now.
I hope so. I hope so. Let me ask you this: how did you find it? Sora?
I just went on Aetna.
Oh, you didn't use a Sora. Oh wow.
Oh, no. I went on Aetna.
Oh.
I put in my criteria, what was important to me.
Oh
And she
wow.
was one of I guess one of about 12 people that came up. And I went down the list. And most of the people that I called either didn't answer the phone or required that I fill out some kind of form in order to be, evaluated. Well, she actually answered the phone. And she
Wow.
asked me, how did I get this number? And I said, oh, it's on this website, blah, blah, blah. And she, explained that she does take both virtual and in-person appointments. And I said, well, if you have some time on your calendar, if you're still taking patients, she said she certainly was. And, I put the other criteria was I wanted it to be close to me where I live, near my resident. And she was, again, one of about 12 people or so. And so I said, well, I'm just happy you answered the phone because I'm going to go ahead and come see you. And I am fully aware that some people don't make good matches initially. You have to go through these people. So I just was cautious. I told her I was going through EAP and she said she accepted it, my insurance and all that. And I went to see her. It was a match. And we've been seeing each other ever since. That's how I found her. I put in those criteria about her being black and just being a woman and living in my area. Working in my vicinity. And I actually got her on the phone. That was it.
Wow. Yeah.
How did you find your doctor?
Sigma. Phi Beta Sigma fraternity. We have a mental health group where we have brothers that are licensed professional counselors that speak to us black men about black issues. We meet for the last 2 years. We have maybe once a quarter. We have an event on Tuesday nights via Zoom call, and it's great because not only we talk about prostate cancer, not only we talk about mental health, we talk about family, aging, all the things that a black man goes through from the moment he's born to the moment he dies. So why not talk about mental health? That's after COVID, that should be huge, in my opinion.
Yeah, you're right.
But there's so many different therapists you got to go through and vet them, and that's the big thing. That's why I was asking you, how did you vet that person? You just didn't pick the very first one that picked up. I hope not. But
somebody else picked up. Somebody else picked up. There are a couple of people who picked up, but like I said, I had to fill out some kind of form, like go through some kind of process of I'm calling it a survey, but I think you know what I mean. And I didn't want to commit. That's the thing. That form made me feel like
you were committing. Right.
Yeah, and I didn't want to commit because I knew.
Well, the very first visit should be free anyway.
Well, all 8 of my first visits visits were, the first 8 visits were free because it was EAP.
Oh, wow.
So it was free to me because
Oh.
that's what the program is that you can get.
I'm talking about the first visit with multiple counselors. You don't got to pick the same one. You could have went to 8 different people, and that first visit would have been free.
Oh, it was like a consultation, rather
Yeah,
than
like a consultation, exactly.
Yeah, I didn't think of it that way. I just thought, I just said, okay, I'm going to use my EAP on this one. And if that don't work out, I'll use another EAP on that one.
Oh.
And if that one don't work out, and so I felt like I was actually spending, not money, but spending capital. You know, credit.
So how does this lady at this moment, how many visits have you had so far?
I've been here since March. So,
All right.
I go every
So
other
now,
week.
if you had it since March, and that's a nice amount of visits. Every other week is 2 a month. That's over 2 times 6 months. That's 12 visits, roughly. So in the 12 visits you've had with her, how is she when it comes to being direct? Because I know some counselors are afraid to ask those pointed questions. Some won't, some do. And they're supposed to be very good at reading you and learning your pressure points to help you, acknowledge certain issues that you might be trying to avoid or certain issues you're trying to hide, things like that. So what do you consider her to be?
I think she's doing that, but see, the thing about my experience is they don't tell you. I see what you're doing. They just read it and then they understand what is happening and they gently guide you so you can see it. You know what I'm saying? So when you're saying be direct, it sounds direct to me, but she may say something that I don't even understand that I'm doing. And then apply whatever tool she has to reveal it to me. So to answer your question, she feels direct to me. I don't know if in fact she's being subtle or she's being gentle. I don't know. She seems like she knows exactly what's going on and how to get me to see who I am.
Right.
Through my own words.
Right. Oh, I like that. I like that. Yeah. Wow, that's awesome. I applaud that.
Well, what I want to do is when I get to January, God willing, when I get to January, I want to be able to not be eaten out of a box and yet still be on the track. Not just maintaining, but losing weight. I want to get to December 31st at 165, and sometime in 2024, I want to get down to 135. That's what I'm looking for. And that's going to take, lose weight for me, obviously, because it's still processing. If I'm not eating a box, which expedite that process, then let's see what 2024 reveals. Because I'll be accomplishing some big goals 2024. But
yeah, I heard that.
With you, and I share with her. I eat when I'm happy. I eat when I'm sad. I eat when I'm frustrated. I eat when I'm tired. I eat when I'm concerned. I eat when I'm sleepy. I eat all the time.
Alexa, what is 12 times 3,500?
12 times 2,500 is 30,000.
No. I meant, Alexa, what is 12 times 3,500?
12 times 3,500 is 42,000.
32,000. So I have 32,000 calories that I have to lose within the next year. And that's the number of calories I gotta lose. That's about 12 pounds. So that's doable. 32,000 calories. Each pound is 3,500 calories. That's a lot. But I break it down into laps. I break it down into laps in the pool, and yards in the pool. Total 71 yards equals 1 mile in the pool. 71 laps, or not yards, laps. Each lap is 45 yards. But 32,000 calories is my goal, Shank. So my hope is I can't lose 12 pounds in 3 months, but I can aim for 12. And if I hit 6, I'm really doing good. My goal is to push hard, even if the goal is, as they said, in Six Sigma, even if it is a stretch goal. I'll try. Right?
Yeah. What's your biggest challenge? What do you believe your biggest challenge is?
They're plural, more than one. So I can't name them all. But I know they're more than one. I mean, always we would say lack of energy output. That'd be a biggest challenge. For example, swimming slow instead of pushing and making my heart rate go up, therefore making my energy level go up, therefore making my body burn more fat. So as it relates to exercise, probably energy output, as they call it in the military, pushing to exhaustion, getting to that point of exhaustion. That's not for the physical fitness part. But there's other issues as well. Mental block. Thinking I can't do it when I really can, like my knee. Thinking I couldn't walk when I really could walk, but I was actually afraid I couldn't because of lie I was telling myself. So there's lots of reasons. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah. My biggest challenge is when I have these emotional swings. I want to eat something that I know I shouldn't eat, even though it's not going to help me. That's my biggest challenge.
Well, that brings the question that you need to ask your doctors: what caused you to have emotional swings? Because if that's the cause of the output of eating different things, then if you stop the emotional swings, you won't eat different things.
We're getting to it.
That's good.
We've explored a few things, so
that's good.
We're getting to it.
That's good. Yeah, because that's something that I had to go through that process. And that's why I realized the output, laziness, not wanting to move, being sedentary, was a habit my mama had, my grandparents had, my family has, and I realized I can't have that anymore. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I hate to say it. Growing up, my mama never said, hey, let's go to LA Fitness or Planet Fitness or Anytime Fitness or whatever the name of the fitness place was. And let's go do group fitness for 1 hour with about 45 people in the room and do a Sean T. Come on, man. We never do no Sean T.
Do you think she thought she could afford that? Do you think in her mind she could afford that?
I don't know if she could afford it or not. But the point of the matter is, that's what she needed. I mean, of course, in the natural, of course she couldn't afford it. I didn't have a job. They didn't have a job. I mean, we kids. But that's why I say, and I really believe this with my whole heart, don't have kids if you can't afford to have kids. Not really do I have no kids. I do not want to put my child in a situation where they get fat because I don't got the money to put them in soccer. That's unfair. Or I don't have the money to put them in gymnastics. Or I don't have the money to put them in baseball. And then I tell them to stay in the house all day, like my mama did me, and become a latchkey kid. Of course you're going to get fat.
Wait a minute though, Hank.
Of course.
Think about her, that time that she lived. Think about her era. That's not why you have kids. Having kids was a badge of honor. Having kids was a sense of womanhood. She didn't think about what can I afford, what I cannot afford, what I can afford and what I cannot afford. She was thinking, this is what makes me, I don't know what she was thinking. I don't know your brother. But women of my age and older, they're thinking, this is what being a mother is what makes me special, makes me real, makes me valuable, makes me honored by society.
They think they did. I know it's a tragedy. You think that. I know. That's why the term Big Mama, Big Mama's house, Big Mama, right? Mama dear, Madea, right? I hear you.
And to even reference the Bible, they encourage you to be fruitful and multiply. They don't say as long as you can afford it. You know, what does the Bible say?
Well, I have to use common sense, Shay. I think you know common sense is not necessarily written in the Bible. The Bible is a spiritual book. The Bible is not a common sense book that says you need to go to college, get a degree so you can be able to take care of your kid. But common sense says in America today, you need a degree. Where does it say that in the Bible? It doesn't.
Common sense don't even say you need a degree.
Yes, it does. You can look at the jobs. They say on a piece of paper, job description required a bachelor's degree or higher.
Okay, let me just back up. Right? You're moving in a different direction than where I am. Where I am is
I'm sorry.
women of this, some women still carry, just like I carry the tradition that a man needs to approach me and ask me to marry him. Yeah, they don't say that in the Bible, but society has led me to believe that that is the way it should be done, and it's something that's been passed down to me over years, over decades, and over generations. So I'm simply saying that probably wasn't a priority. It was a reality. Having enough money to do things with and for your kids. It was a reality once they got here. But society and tradition said, you need to be a mother. That's again, I don't know your mother. I've never seen her. I don't know what drove her. But I'm saying women that age and that era and prior to that, saying, these are the things that you need to do. The rest of it, you got to figure out. Common sense doesn't say, you know what, we as black people made having money and doing things with your kids, we made that a reality following behind white people.
What's wrong with that? You making it seem like what white people do is bad. No. We're going to go there. You making it seem like what white people did is bad. We were slaves for 300 plus years. Why can't I, in this generation, have the things that they have? We couldn't have it 200 years ago, 250 years ago, 300 years ago. So why do I gotta now say we trying to be like white people? I asked the question. Okay, I asked you a question. Hello, are you there? Oh, she might not be there. Oh, okay. Looks like you dropped.
No, I disconnected you. My apologies. You were saying, and continue with what you're saying, because I already have an answer, but I want you to finish your thought.
Okay. Why are you, I mean more precise, why are you making a statement or a phrase, we are, quotes, putting our kids in a golf or soccer or sports because we try to be like white people as if that is a negative thing, when black people for the last since 1619 being brought to America had no jobs, had no career, had no language, had nothing for about 300 plus years. Then go through 100 years of Jim Crow. Then in 1965, get a Human Rights Act called the Civil Rights Act. And now in 2023, just getting some abilities to function in society as a human being. Why is it wrong for me to say I want my child to play sports, to be healthy, to be active? Why does that mean I'm trying to be like white people?
Hey, I never said it was wrong to do that, and I never said that it was wrong because white people did it. What I'm saying to you is those traditions of being a mother and being a family were passed down to us without even consideration for money until we started that I've contributed to decades and almost centuries of black people following, this is a new thing to us that we have to be concerned about finances. We have to be concerned about variety. We have to be concerned about types of education. That's all I'm saying. Not that it's wrong, but just that this is a new development in our culture. And by new, I mean in the last 50 to 75 years. Because we didn't go on annual vacations until the 30s and 40s when we created places that we could go on vacations to, because we weren't even allowed to go on the kind of vacations they were taking.
Exactly, you make my point. So why can I? And that's why I don't judge. That's why I don't judge my mom. I don't judge my mom because, as you said, she was in a different generation. That generation is over. That's done. But it's my generation now. It's my time now. And that generation will be over in about 20 years. And it'll be the next generation. All I'm just saying is, for my time, while it's slowly dwindling away, make the most of my generation and my time. So I can't sit back and judge, but I can, what I call, compare. I can compare the way my mama's generation was, my grandmother's generation was, and I can't go beyond that because I don't know my great-grands. I don't know them that well. So all I can do is just do that comparison. But my mom died at 49 years old, and part of the tragedy was that the stresses of having to raise two boys and not have a husband and not have a true partner, as y'all ladies like to call it, I believe is in part for her death. I really do. But I can't prove that. But I don't see that many women at 49 years old dying of a disease that could have been easily diagnosed, easily caught, and medication could have easily been given, and she'd be here another 35 years, like I am.
So when you say she didn't, tell you, she didn't say as an activity, let's go to the gym, that's a recent evolution in black culture, going to the gym, right? That's not something that we did in her time. So that's
right. That's her time. Correct.
Yeah.
That generation's dead. It's my time. It's ours. The people that are born or that graduated in the 90s, it's our time now. I'm sorry, but those that were born in the 50s, their time is over. It's our time. And I wish them much success, but they had their time. They say in society, people that are between 40 years old and 60 years old run the United States. Once a person gets to be 60, they're considered elderly. And once a person is below 40, they're not considered an adult. They're considered a young adult. So I recognize I'm 49. I'm right there in the middle of this power generation. But that day will end where I will be 60, and it'll be the 40-year-old's time. And I hope that they have done a lot of great things in this next God willing 11 years. Does that make sense?
Sure. Yeah.
I hope so. I hope that's what my counsel said. So I hope it makes sense. I agree with it. I agree. And so, but our mom didn't have the money. That's honestly. But here's the craziest part about it. My mama supposedly didn't have the money, right? But she had the money to take care of her half brothers and sisters, to the point that when she died, they came running to us, demanding that David and I would pay them because Mama promised them X numbers of dollars. How do you feel about that?
I think they were broken. They were broken, and they had anticipated that she would live forever. They didn't anticipate having to take care of themselves in the way that she was helping out. I don't know their personal track record, but so they just thought that they could influence you to do what it is that she was already doing for them in the
so I look back. I thought that after if something did happen to my mom, based upon what she did for them, I thought that they would say, "Man, we're gonna help those boys in honor of our big sister," and that was not what they did. And it's now been 20 years.
They could only see themselves. They could only see their
I know.
They couldn't see yours.
I know. And so the consequence of that is my brother Damon feels like he's alone. And I somewhat felt like I was alone until I found a new family, and new families, plural, as a Christian. But my brother is not a devout Christian. So he's out there in the world by himself. Because they're not going to be people that are just going to love on you just because you're a human being. There's got to be something in their heart that wants to love you. And if they don't have that in their heart, they're not going to do that. The same way my mama had in her heart to love her sisters despite the fact they were using her. So that may be why my brother felt like when my cousin kicked him out the house. Either one, he felt like he didn't want nobody to know. He was so ashamed. He couldn't walk up to somebody and say, "Hey, you help me." He's out there right now trying to work for people that are probably using him to give him a few dollars, because the pride in him won't let him humble himself to get help. That's the same way a lot of people have that same problem.
Yeah, he's got to have come to terms with who he is, how he is, what he is, and then decide to change. It's got to be something from inside. That's all you can do. Just like you decided to change your sedentary life, it's like I decided to change my eating life. We all go through those things that until we come to it ourselves, it ain't gonna happen. That's why I don't beat up people about being fat, because until you decide, when you decide, then it's decided. That's the only time it changes is when you decide. I've been there, and I've been there many, many, many times, and I don't beat people up about it. And here's the other thing. When I was at 271, that's my highest. That was at one place, but when I was at 269, I had already made a decision, but guess what? I still looked like I was 271. You didn't know, not you, Hank, but you, period, as in the world didn't know I had made up my mind. The world didn't know I had made up my mind, but I knew I had made up my mind, and it just took some time before it could be revealed. So I looked the same probably when I was 259. But I was working on it, but you can't tell. So that's another reason why you just don't know where people are in their process.
Oh yeah, I know exactly. When I first started, when I lost my job Friday 13th, January this year, I was approximately 275 pounds. I know it because I weighed myself.
Okay.
And I was, of course, not able to walk. Of course, I'm hobbling on a chair. I have one of these medical chairs. The one you go to the doctor's office. It has 4 wheels, and it's like a little seat, and you can spin it around all 360 degrees, and you can roll it too on carpet, on linoleum.
Okay.
And I'm doing that, rolling from the bedroom, rolling to the living room, rolling to the dining room, rolling to the bathroom. I wasn't standing up on my leg because I thought it was really effed up. It was, but I just didn't want to stand up on it out of fear. And at that time, I had just had a physical therapist in December come to my house. That my insurance that I was on was really, really good. And I paid for Visiting Health. It's a company that comes to people's houses that are hospice, or that they're old, or they're infernal, unambulatory is the word. They can't move.
Yeah.
And so this white man comes to my home, and he's looking at me like, "How old are you?" And I'm like, "I'm only 48. What's going on?" And I tell him what happened. Blood clots. I'm thinking, oh my God, that's the worst thing in the world. I'm about to die because, I was diagnosed with blood clots. Not knowing that, that's not going to kill you. If you don't do nothing, it'll kill you. But if you move, you will break the clots up and you will live. So he's like, you're gonna have to start walking, man. Today we're gonna have you walk from the front door to the kitchen, and you're gonna do that every day, seven times a week, and we're gonna meet once a week. And I'm gonna come back and I want to see if you done it. The next week we go from the front door to my bedroom, my master bedroom, and that was very, very, very hard. And then after that, from the front door to the bedroom, front door to the bedroom on the other side. I had 2 bedrooms. And that was very hard. Now, of course, I had not been walking from August that previous year. This is 2022, December 2022. So from January 2022 all the way till December, I really hadn't been walking. And of course, that was when you and I had the argument the year before, I believe, was when I stopped talking to you.
Yeah.
So I had nobody to talk to me, and of course I had no family. Other than old ladies that are in their 70s and they barely can walk themselves. So I realized if I don't help myself, I ain't get help. Because I got no friends. I got Sigmas, but no offense. Nobody want to call me Sigmas. Look at me, a 46-year-old, go in there, bro. You ain't 76, you 46. Come on, man. So, I realized as the guy made me realize, the fear was in my own head.
Yeah.
And after I started trying, Louis told me, we did the first levels of, I have 3 flights of stairs. So the first thing we did, the first flight, down and back. It was really hard, down and back. With crutches on one arm and the stair rail on the other. Down and back, down and back, down and back. Then we say next day, he said, all right, we're going to do 2 flights. Oh, God. So I'm down the first flight, down to the second floor, and then back up to the third. And then third week, down to the first, down to the second, down to the third, second, first, and all the way back up. My knee was like about to buckle. I felt like I'm about to break my knee. But
And you did this when he was with you and when he was not?
yes, I had to. That was my assignment by the guy. And I wanted to prove that I could do it. I had to go very slow. I went very slow. But yeah, I did. And so I knew that my job might be firing me, so I already had a motivation because I already got some information that my contract may not be renewed back in December, and the way they were treating me kind of felt like they're trying to find a way to let me go. So I'm like, let me use this insurance because the insurance ends December 31st. And I paid a lot of money into this insurance. I want my EAP. I want my help. This all was a part of my $300 a month insurance plan that I paid out of my pocket every month. So thank God I did. Because then in January I lost my job. And from January, February. No, this is the law firm.
Okay.
The law firm that I did a 6-month contract.
Okay.
Yeah. July 17th, 2022, I had got that job because I got fired from jail in May. And so they gave me a $10,000 package. That $10,000 package lasted me to July, in which I was able to get a new job in July at the law firm. So, and that job only lasted me 6 months. It should last me at least a year. But looking back on it, God is so great. I am so glad they fired me. Why? Because the job that I got right now is 25,000 times better than that job. And I'm so grateful because I actually used my brain in this job. And the other job, it was so mind-numbing and below my level of knowledge that I hated the job. So thank God. Anyway, but I just wish I could have quit instead of firing me, so I could have quit while I had a new job. I wanted to get a new job, and I had a couple of jobs interviews during that time, I was actually getting. I got interviewed with Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, the hospital you pass by every time you come and visit me. Yeah, I got.
That's been on your dream. That should be your dream job.
Yeah.
Get on with that.
That is. And I got to the second round, and the guy that saw my resume said, "You're overqualified. We don't need somebody. You got what you know. We don't necessarily do here." I said, "Oh, all right. I guess that's a lie." But I know what it was. They knew I would be asking for a certain number of dollars, and they could afford to pay me that certain number of dollars. I get it. They call that, age discrimination, or you start getting to that world. That's what I'm starting to get into now. But anyway, I'm looking back on it. I'm glad that they hired me, because it was mind-numbing work. I've been in Cisco Voice for about 15 years. That job needed somebody that has only got 5 years. So it's not for somebody that's older like me. They want someone that's just got out of college, got their, just brand new. Anyway, so God has a great way of giving me something even when I don't think He should. Because I told Him, if you'd asked me, did I want to stay in King and Spalding? Yeah. They're paying me at that time $62 an hour, and I'm working 8 o'clock on, 4 o'clock off. I don't have to work long nights. I don't have to work weekends. It was gravy. I mean, it's like if I'm 65 years old, yeah, but I'm 49. I want to do more because I know I can make more. And so I realized that this is a job for somebody that's close to retiring, not for somebody that's in my area, in my age, in my career right now. But it gave me a good medical insurance. I had good medical insurance. I had EAP. I had home health care. I had a home nurse that would come by my house and take my blood. I had check my blood pressure, blood sugar. I mean, praise God. I learned something, and that is, if I was ever feeble and I needed health care to come to my house, I know exactly what they could do. Because I never knew anybody that had that before. I now know that is, they call it traveling nurses. It is a big, big, big profession. Shout out to the traveling nurses. But I didn't know that at 46. I've always been somewhat healthy. So, and I know I've always been able to walk. So I just, But that guy, that physical therapist, said, "Bro, you can walk. You may have to walk with a limp. You may have to walk with a cane, but you can walk." And he's right. I can. I want the surgery, but at the same time, I can walk until I get the surgery. It's just up to me exercising every damn day and not sitting sedentary 2 days in a row, 3 days in a row, 4 days in a row, 5 days in a row. So that's the lesson. That's the lesson. I love it.
Yeah.
Does that make all that story? Does that make all sense? All that?
Oh yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense to me.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. But now I'm down in this first floor apartment, and I'm really happy. I mean, I like the stairs, but honestly, I like the fact I downsized. I didn't need that big ass place. I'm about to throw some more stuff away. I realized that, man, a lot of that junk was junk that I never used, sit in the closets, that for at least 7, 8 years I was in that place. And I didn't touch some of that stuff in the whole 7 years. Unacceptable. Unacceptable. So what moving did was it taught me, man, dude, give that over to Goodwill, give that to Salvation Army, be a blessing. Somebody might need it. Be a blessing to other people. Stop trying to hoard stuff. And I started watching this show on A&E called Hoarders. And I saw these white people that got their houses so messed up. It kind of reminded me of you when I first met you, remember?
Well, I guess.
You remember you had that weight, you had that weight room, that weird weights in your office for like at least 5 years. Yeah.
My universal
Oh
system.
yeah. Oh yeah.
I had used it for a while, but I really didn't like being in the house. I had to
I know.
Angela sold it to me for $200. I had that stuff a year. And I gave it away when I got my house refinanced. That's what I did. I gave it away to the contractor who fixed up my house for the refinance.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. I got, and in fact, I was thinking today that I was going to get rid of some of my furniture that I have used that got wet when my toilet flooded up. When John leaves, he's going to help me pack up a truck and take it to the dump at the landfill, and I'm going to get rid of that stuff, and I'm not going to replace it until I get the house renovated. So anyway,
I understand that part because when I have boxes all in my living room, and when I first moved here, that washing machine, I had an issue with the drum spinning and rotating really bad and wobbling so bad that you would hear the sound wah, 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 wah. And I'm like, when you go on the spin cycle, it was spinning so fast that it made the washing machine move 3 or 4 feet in different directions.
yeah.
When I called the maintenance people, and this is the first week I moved in, I said, okay, I've had a washing machine for 7 years in my other apartment. Same one, washed hundreds of loads, no problem. Something wrong with this washing machine. You know what they say to me? We don't think they're wrong with the washing machine, sir. So maybe you filled it up too much with laundry and that's what's happening. I said, listen, man, I know that I've been washing clothes for 20 plus years. I know something wrong. So take my little iPhone, I got my little tripod, I put it a light load and I put it in the basic normal cycle, wait till it gets to the spin cycle, and I started videotaping. And there it is. I get no film. I do 3 or 4 videos. You know, film. We all got iPhones, so I can send it to them via AirDrop. Talk to the lady at the front desk, black sister. I said, listen, I got proof. Look at this. Talk to me. Okay. I'm sorry, bro. I talked about making today. He says that he tested your washing machine and couldn't find nothing wrong. I said, did you put clothes in there? No. So how are you going to test it? Okay, so, all right, next time, this is about 4 weeks later. I'm going through this for a whole month. And I got to wash clothes. I got to work, man. I got to wash clothes. So I said, I'm going to wash clothes. So, put a normal load in there, and I put it in the spin cycle, wash clothes. Got to the spin cycle right before the actual tub drains. It moved the washing machine so far forward by 4 feet that it pulled out the drainage thing from the drain hole.
Man.
So it flooded my whole home, my bedroom, my living room, the couch, everything was flooded. So I had a video of all this. You probably didn't even notice, but some of my boxes over there had flood damage. You can see the crinkling of the cardboard because the water made the cardboard crinkle.
No, I didn't know.
And so I'm sitting there like, oh my God. So I'm here to get a mop. I'm having a wet mop. I called an emergency. I said, listen, we need somebody over here tonight. Man, they didn't come to my place for 3 days. So for 3 days, I'm sitting there mopping, trying to get it from mildew, trying to make the thing not mildew, trying to get all the water up. I mean, I'm on crutches, so I'm doing this on crutches, you know. And so he finally comes and he sees the damage. He goes, oh, okay, we'll replace it. Replace it one day. I have had no problems with the machine ever. The new one works perfectly. And I've had that new machine for over a month and a half. And I could have had it fixed if the man listened to me and not have lost or wasted precious stuff, ties, clothes. Oh my God. All because he's stupid behind it won't listen. But that's what you get when you live in a cheaper apartment. If I lived in a very nice one, like a white one up there in Sugarloaf, that would be fixed like that. So you get what you pay for. You get what you pay for. But that's a lesson.
Do you have renter's insurance, Nate?
I do, for $14 a month. And you know what's funny? I hadn't even put a claim in because I don't even know. I have never done that before. I need to
you could have put
research
it
that.
in.
I did not think about that. I didn't think about that. I need to call them and talk about that. It's never happened to me in 15 years. So why would I need to put it? See, the apartment makes us get rears insurance. I have rears insurance with the apartment, and I have my own rears insurance with United States Automobile Insurance, which is for veterans. So I got the same thing your brother got. So, very interesting, very interesting. But anyway, I'm just grateful. So my question is, well, what are we gonna do about this table I need for my right knee? How are we gonna remedy this issue? Because I need to stretch.
We keep coming back to that table, man.
With the what?
I said we keep coming back to that table.
Oh, you have to. I need to use it, Shay. I mean, I've had it for 2 years. And I'm like, man, I can't believe it. I don't know why it broke. I don't. But I guess the answer
You
is,
know why it broke.
well, you're too heavy. That's the reason. Because I was sitting on that thing for at least 30 minutes, and it didn't break on me.
Because I'm too heavy. That
You saw me naked. You saw me naked on the table, Shay. I was sitting on it with no problems. And I went online and I found out. I should have read this. The maximum weight they can handle is 300 pounds. So if you do the math, my 230 plus your 170 is over 300 pounds. I should never let you sit on it. I just did not do enough analysis of that.
It sounds like you're owning your responsibility. That's what I hear. I hear you're owning the responsibility for doing this. So let me just say this thing. I'll make you a deal. I really shouldn't do this, but you know how you just.
So you don't believe in 50? You don't believe in 50-50 is what you're saying?
No, that's not what I was gonna say.
Oh.
I don't believe that I own 50% of this problem because the reason I was comfortable in the bed, you're the one that asked me to get up and get on the table. So.
Oh, so it's like that, huh?
You own 100% of the responsibility.
So I own 100% of responsibility because I asked you to get on the table so that I can massage you, not the fact that you were overweight and that your weight helped break the table. I mean, women do this all. You know, women get massages all the time. It's a known fact that women and men are massaged. I mean, that's what they call a massage table. I don't know how many massages you've had in the past, but I've had a few, and I know that this might be a cheap table. I hate to say, I'm going to Amazon had tables that cost $700. I couldn't afford that, but I don't think that it's all my fault. And I do agree that maybe I should not have said, "Oh, jump on the table." But it looks to me that you never have been on a table before, because where you sat on the table was the problem. It wasn't the problem of your weight. The table has a bending. It bends, and there's a weak part, and that's the middle of the table. So either you sit on the outside, but never sit on the inside, and that's why it broke. And the weight was too to the left. When you got on the table, you got right next to me, and that was too far to the right, and that was wrong. That was wrong. Because if you had known about the table or had been on massage tables, you would know these tables fold just like a card table.
And again, you are making my case for fees.
Yeah, I am. I'm showing that you have lack of knowledge of that. But again, I wish that you had more at 56 knowledge of these kids. So I really do.
It would be nice, but it's true that I don't. And because I don't, you can't hold me responsible for something that I don't know.
No, I can't.
But I won't. You want to. And the question
Well,
is,
that's my fault. I should. You're right. I do want to, but it's like you said. You don't have a lot of experience, and I can't hold you to that. And I've never had a table break in my entire life with a woman on it, and I've had tables for like 20 years. So it's something that maybe I just should have thought. But how would I think about it if I never had ever happened? Does it make sense?
Well, again, you're the one who told me to get on the table. You're You're the one who didn't tell me to sit over there. You're the one who told me who should have known that the weight of the table capacity was 300 pounds. You certainly knew that I weighed more than 70 pounds. You knew that. That meant we should have been on that table together.
Well, I should have jumped up. And honestly, the moment you sat down, I should have jumped up. But it happened so fast. You jumped on the table and you tried to kiss me. And you didn't think about how much the table would weigh, because I guess you thought it probably weighed. I guess you probably thought it would take 1,000 pounds. What did you think the table would just support us?
It never even occurred to me to think about how much
Oh
the table
wow!
would take.
Oh wow!
Never even occurred to me.
You never thought about that, not once.
Not once.
That really shows y'all. Wow. So you really never been on a folding. You've never had a massage person come to your house with their folding table to give you a massage, like they do all the time.
No,
Oh wow.
I have been on trips where I've scheduled massages outside of, and I remember Spontanel when that was a big thing. Maybe you don't know when Spontanel was a big thing. It was a big thing in the early 2000s. Spontanel. Are you familiar with Spontanel?
Well, again, I'm sorry, but women in their 40s and 50s need to get massages, and I think that's something you might need to start, because it is very important for your health, not just your mental, but your physical health, to get massages. The good news is that the table that I paid, I bought this table February. I'm looking at my Amazon right now. I bought this table February 4th, 2022. And it cost at that time $350. Today it's only $129. So I'm like, yeah. So I'm getting me a new table. Praise the Lord.
Hey. What I was going to say before you told me I had some responsibility in this.
What?
Why don't you find a table that can handle more than that?
You can't. I can afford $700. So I have to see what I got.
I'm not recommending $700, but I am recommending you can find a table that can handle a little bit more, maybe a higher level.
I wish. I mean, I've looked through them. Okay, I'm looking right now. I'm looking right now online on Amazon.com on the spa beds. I'm looking.
And I'll go in half with you.
I don't want that. Well, I'm looking. Let me tell you the prices. Since you're making a statement here, let me tell you what they are. I think the table that I had is pretty damn good. I had it since February 2022, and it's October 2024, and it worked pretty fine for me. I don't really think.
It's 2023. It's not 2024. It's 2023. So you had it a year and a half.
Well, it wouldn't have broke if you weren't happy. You feel me?
And you keep blaming me for doing what you asked me to do.
I'm just saying, Shay, if you were 30, 40 pounds lighter, I bet it wouldn't have broke. Talk to me. If you were 160, I bet it wouldn't have broke. Talk to me.
It would have broken. It would have been.
Sure.
The capacity 300, 160.
I believe if you were 160, it would not have broke. You said you're 170 is what I heard you say.
Right now, 175.
Yeah, so you're 160, I don't think it would broke. 15 more pounds?
When you add 160 to 230, you get 390. That's almost 400 pounds. It would have broke.
Yeah, you're right about that. Yeah, I got one. You got a good point. I don't think the law. I'm looking now. I'm going to Google and to see if what's the maximum weight capacity. So let me go. Spots, foldable. It's got to be foldable. That's the biggest thing.
Right. Yes. I'm being nice, hey. I'm being nice.
Oh, you should. Thank you. But I don't think we can get above 400 pounds. I don't believe it. But I'm just saying this foldable massage table that can handle up to 400 pounds. I think that's probably right, man. I don't think it's gonna be 400 pounds. That's a lot. I mean, most persons weigh 200 pounds. A man on average weighs 220, and a woman should never weigh 220. So And woman weighing 220, she don't need to be on no table anything. She go to the gym.
Okay. I'm at the gas station pumping gas, so let me call you right back.
Okay. All right, fine. No, we don't know that. Wow. Ooh. Jesus. I don't believe these. I just don't. Alright, here's the website, massagesupplies.com, and here are the prices that I see on these tables. I don't necessarily agree with them, but from low to high, let's go from low to high. And there are $219, $381, $457, $526, $549, $582, $945. My God, I'm not ready for that. That's my goal. That one's for a woman that's pregnant. I know, right? Isn't that cool? But again, these are tables that should last for 4 to 5 years. They got lightweight ones. They got other ones. And this is the one that I paid for. And they got a $319 one. I think metal's stronger than wood. I just do. So I'm going to go with a metal. Even though that metal table did break. I know.